ready to dive into some seriously deep waters. This time we're tackling Hegel's Aesthetics.
Oh, now that's one that people either love or love to hate.
It's dense, no doubt about it.
But the payoff, right? Understanding how art really works, what it means.
It's like he takes a wrecking ball to how we usually think about art and then rebuilds it.
Exactly. Like we've all heard that line about art being subjective, just about feeling.
Oh yeah, beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Hegel says not so fast. He throws that out the window, along with a bunch of other common assumptions.
So, like, what kind of assumptions are we talking about? What does he want us to rethink?
Well, he tackles those kind of easy ways out that people use to talk about art, like saying art is just entertainment or decoration.
Yeah, just something pretty to look at, no deeper meaning required.
Right. But Hegel would say, if it's just decoration, why bother at all? He's saying true art does something way more profound. It's on par with religion and philosophy.
Whoa. Now, those are some heavy hitters to compare it to.
Hegel sees art as a way to connect with the divine, to express the core truths about being human. This spirit, this essence of what it means to be self-aware, that's what's driving true art for him.
So not just about whether you like the colors in a painting,
It's about what that painting tells us about ourselves, about the world, about the big picture.
I see what you mean about taking a wrecking ball to our usual ideas. Okay, so art is not just decoration, not just pretty. It's got this deep connection to the spirit. What else?
He also takes on this idea that art is just, deceptive, like it's not real, just an illusion.
Okay, I can see that. A painting of a bowl of fruit isn't actually a bowl of fruit, it's just paint.
But Hegel flips that on its head. Get this. He says, everyday reality, the way we usually see the world, that's the real illusion. Art, he says, actually helps us see through that.
Whoa. So he's saying art is more real than reality. That's a bit of a mind bender.
It's about perspective, right? The world we think is solid might just be a construct, while art can show us something truer about ourselves.
And this is where that spirit idea comes in again, right?
Exactly. It's not just about what you see on the canvas, it's the force behind it, the creative, conscious energy that's shaping the art and really shaping history itself.
Okay, so art's not just entertainment, it's not an illusion, it's connected to this deep spirit. What other misconceptions is Hegel trying to clear up?
He tackles this idea of art being all about pure feeling. Like you look at a painting, you feel something, and that's it.
Yeah, you're moved by the beauty, the emotion, that's the point.
Hegel agrees emotions are part of it, for sure, but he says, you're missing something if you stop there. You need the intellect, too, the active thinking about what the art means.
So don't just feel it, think about it, too.
Engage with it, grapple with the ideas. He'd say a purely emotional response isn't enough for real art appreciation.
Interesting. So it's not enough to be moved. You have to understand why you're moved, what ideas the art is wrestling with.
Right. And this ties into another big one. Art is not just imitating nature. That's a big no-no for Hegel.
Right, like a photograph versus a painting.
Exactly. One's trying to capture a moment, the other's transforming it, filtering it through the artist's vision, the spirit of their time.
Okay, so we're seeing a pattern here. Hegel's pushing for a much deeper, more thoughtful way of engaging with art.
He's laying the groundwork for a whole new understanding of what art is, what it does, and why it matters.
Okay, so Hegel's taken us on a bit of a demolition derby, smashing up those common ideas about art being just about feeling or beauty or just copying what we see.
He's clearing the way, right, to build up his own view of what art really is.
Exactly. So where does he go from there? Once we've ditched those assumptions, what's left?
Well, now he starts building his case that art is this bridge, this amazing connection between the world we experience with our senses, the physical stuff.
Right, what we see here.
And the realm of pure thought, ideas, concepts, the stuff philosophers get into.
So it's like art takes those big abstract ideas and makes them real, something we can actually grasp.
Exactly. Think about how hard it is to wrap your head around some philosophical ideas.
Tell me about it. Some of those books, I swear, I read them and I'm like, did I just have a stroke?
Right. But then you see a sculpture or hear a piece of music and it clicks. Suddenly those ideas are alive.
It's like art sneaks past our intellectual defenses.
Exactly. It doesn't hit you over the head with logic. It goes straight to that deeper understanding.
So how does that work? How does art make that connection between the real world and these big abstract ideas?
Well, Hegel uses this term artistic fantasy.
Artistic fantasy.
Yeah.
Sounds a bit whimsical for Hegel. Isn't he all about, the spirit and the absolute idea?
It's not about unicorns and rainbows, I'll give you that. But it's about how the artist takes what's real, those sensory experiences, but molds them to express something deeper. That creative fusion, that's where the magic happens.
So it's not just about, say, painting a tree realistically.
Yeah.
It's about what that tree represents, what it makes you think about.
Right. The artist is tapping into something beyond the surface. It's that spirit again, right? Working through the artist, taking those raw materials of the world and making something new, something that makes us see those deeper truths.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this all fits together. So art is not just imitation, it's about revealing something true, even if it's not literal.
Exactly. It's about those aha moments. That's the real purpose of art, according to Hegel.
It's like you can read a whole book about the meaning of life.
And still be totally lost.
Right. But a piece of art, it can just cut through all that noise and make you feel it.
And when you feel it, you start to understand it on a whole different level.
That's the power of art, right?
Yeah.
It's not just about what you see or hear, it's about what it unlocks inside you.
Exactly. And Hegel, he doesn't stop there. He goes even further, looking at how art itself changes over time.
So it's not like there's just one right way to make art, one style that fits Hegel's definition.
Nope. He says art evolves right alongside our understanding of ourselves, of the world. He lays out these stages. He calls them symbolic, classical, and romantic art.
Okay, different stages, different ways of expressing the spirit. Tell me more about those, because that sounds like where things could get really interesting. So we've gone from ancient art trying to express these big ideas to classical art finding that perfect balance. But art doesn't just stop there, does it?
Not for Hegel, no way. He says romantic art, that's where things get even more interesting. It's like the spirit knows its own power now. It's ready to break free.
Free from those classical rules, that idea of perfect form.
Exactly. Think about those Greek statues again, so calm and idealized. Now imagine a painting from the Middle Ages, full of emotion, maybe even a little bit chaotic.
Definitely a different vibe. So it's about looking inward then, exploring personal feelings, individual experiences.
Exactly. That shift from the objective to the subjective. Romantic art is all about digging into the inner world, those individual struggles, the big questions humans wrestle with.
And that comes out in different art forms too, right? Not just painting and sculpture.
Right. You get romantic poetry, literature that really gets into the depths of human emotion, things that classical art wasn't really equipped to handle.
So does Hegel see these stages as like a ladder? You climb from symbolic to classical to romantic, and that's it.
It's more like they're all part of this bigger picture. The impulses behind each one, they don't just disappear. They pop up again and again throughout history.
Like different tools in the artist's toolbox.
Exactly. Each one offering a different way of expressing those big ideas about the spirit, about what it means to be human. But here's where Hegel really throws us a curveball. He says art, in its highest form, it points beyond itself towards philosophy.
Wait, so art's like a stepping stone. You experience great art, and it makes you want to go read philosophy books.
In a way, yeah. Hegel sees art as preparing us for that kind of abstract, conceptual thinking. It awakens something in us, a desire to grapple with the big questions.
But how does that work? What is it about art that makes us want to philosophize?
Well, it tackles those big themes, right? Love, death, the meaning of life. But it doesn't just tell you the answers. It makes you feel them.
Right. It hits you in the gut, not in the brain.
Exactly. It bypasses all those logical arguments and gets straight to that deeper understanding. It's like suddenly you're not just thinking about those big questions, you're experiencing them.
And that's what sparks that philosophical impulse, that desire to dig deeper, to make sense of it all.
Exactly. It's that moment when you realize, wow, there's more to this than I thought. Art cracks open the door, and then philosophy, that's where we try to walk through it.
So does that mean art is just a means to an end? Once we've gotten into philosophy, we can just forget about art?
Oh, absolutely not. Hegel wouldn't say that at all. Art has its own unique value, its own way of revealing the truth.
So it's not like art's the demo version and philosophy is the full game.
Not at all. They're both playing in the same league, just with different strengths. Art enriches our understanding, it challenges us, it makes us feel those truths in a way that philosophy alone just can't.
It's like you can read all about the science behind a sunset, but actually seeing one, that's a whole other experience.
Exactly. And Hegel's point is we need both. We need that intellectual stimulation of philosophy, but we also need that direct emotional experience of art. They work together, they make each other richer.
It's like they're two sides in the same coin.
Yeah.
Both trying to understand what it means to be human, just in different ways.
Exactly. And that's what makes Hegel so fascinating, right? He forces us to look at art in a whole new way, to appreciate its power, its depth.
He's reminding us that art isn't just something pretty to look at. It's a way of grappling with the biggest questions we have. about ourselves, about the world, about what it all means. It's a powerful tool for understanding, for connecting, for making life, well, a little less meaningless, right?
Perfectly put. And that's the beauty of diving into these deep waters with Hegel. It might be a challenge, but the rewards are immense.
So to everyone listening, next time you encounter a piece of art, don't just glance and move on. Take the time to really see it, to feel it, to let it spark those questions in your mind. You might be surprised what you discover. Until next time, happy exploring.